So on this extra, we touched on a lot of things, and your manner is very much a coach. I have a similar leadership style whenever you're delivering because you gave this session to us in a way that was, like I said, you're a professor. You delivered it that way. You didn't deliver it as a speech. And I
Mhm.
really appreciated how you adapted to the format. That really, really helped out a lot. I mean, what's your perspective on coaching when it comes to things like that?
Um, I'm not sure what you mean exactly.
Well, okay, so I'm on social media, and I'm on
Yeah.
TikTok and things like that. And it seems like whenever you, let's just say you start saying, well, I'm a coach, like you're a TEDx coach, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. You start seeing because of the algorithms, you start saying, oh, this person's doing this and this person's doing this, and they're trying to sell you a product and say, like, we'll sell you for $1,500 999 leads for networking and all. It's like going, I'm just buying the leads instead of doing the work. But a coach has a manner, a coach has a perspective, a coach has a method, and you've got a method that you've shown tonight that you're very conversational, very, very experienced. And even though I noticed that there were some times where you were pondering your approach, you still delivered in a very effective manner. That's why I said, you taught the class. So that's the
Okay.
reason why I asked that because your manner is very scholarly.
I love it. I love information. I think, and I love giving it too.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
that one of the greatest things I learned just at Toastmasters, for example, was that to give, to teach.
Hmm.
It's
Same,
it's the best way to,
same.
for example, for me, this stuff never came naturally to me. I was forced to go because I lost my life savings, and you know,
Oh
I didn't
dear.
want to go to Toastmasters, but I had to. I
Oh
was
my.
forced because I had to rebuild. I had to learn to communicate. I couldn't go into
Hmm.
businesses and talk to people.
That's great.
So I started a new business, online marketing,
Hmm.
and I needed to make webinars and things like this to promote myself, to make money, to survive.
What was the business? I mean, what did you was it a, like like training management or something for corporations like hospitals and stuff like that? Is that what you did working with HR departments?
It was online marketing. So I
Oh,
basically
okay.
sold, I took small businesses that wanted to promote make a website, promote their products,
Oh,
sell
yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's what I was doing. And I found out that by getting up and teaching people something that I was knowledgeable at,
Hmm.
it brought me business. People would come up to me afterwards and say, I'm just doing a Toastmaster speech at a Toastmasters event. And people would come up and say, hey, can you do this for me?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I just told you how to do it. And they're like, yeah, but like, yeah,
It's
but
like
I
I
don't
just
want to
did
do
it. I mean, come on.
it. They're like, I don't want to do it myself. So by
Oh,
actually
yeah.
getting up and teaching something to somebody, I proved myself as authority in what I
Hmm.
was doing. And it's one of the greatest ways to promote your business or,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
pro, you know, I've seen realtors do it. My friend Craig,
Right.
he's a realtor. He went to Toastmasters, and in 6 months he got, you know, 3 sales for, you know, a couple of first-time home buyer speeches and how to cook roast beef.
That's
You know,
significant. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So now, was there a moment where you're going like, "Hey, I found something here. I'm going to do this because it works. I'm comfortable with it." Was there a moment like that?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was actually a couple moments. First one was that time when I gave that speech and someone came up to me afterward and said, "Can you do it for me?" I was like, "Ding!" Light was on. Oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
this is brilliant.
I
What a,
love
what a
that.
great idea.
Yeah, yeah, I love
Um,
that.
oh, and another one that transformed my life. I remember I was sitting down with somebody and we were talking about I'm trying to sell her a website, and it was a big pro. project
Mm,
for me. I
mm,
really
mm.
wanted it bad, but she just wasn't buying what I was selling. I was trying
Right,
um, to dazzle her with my brilliance because I knew a lot about online marketing.
right.
And
You wanted to
then,
make the big sale.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And she wasn't buying what I was selling. And there was a point where I realized that and I just kind of gave up and I became casual, more casual. And was just chit-chatting with her. And she says,
Right.
yeah, well, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. And I was like, well, I had a client that did it, and here's what they did. Um, and they had the same issues. And then this was the results they got. And she's like, oh, and she leaned in. And I was like, oh, what did I stumble upon here?
Isn't it
So
amazing what the comparative pitch does? Oh my
it,
gosh.
I was like,
Yeah.
hang on, I'm starting to tell a story about a client that I had,
Hmm.
and it was the story that was influencing her. It wasn't the information, it wasn't my
Exactly right.
brilliance, it was
Yeah.
just a simple story. And
Right.
it blew my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is power. This is true
Oh
power.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't
no,
wasn't it just like you make the sale and then you walk away from it, it's like what the hell just happened to me?
I closed the biggest
That's
deal of my
fantastic.
online
Yeah.
marketing career. And
Yeah,
then I
that's
became a
fantastic.
monster though. I was like,
Oh yeah.
my kids would have problems. I'd be like, instead of telling them what to do, and I'd be like, oh, maybe tell a story. When I was a child, this is what I did.
Mm.
And it was a miracle. My kid actually listened to me for like the first time in my
Oh yeah.
life. And in every aspect of life, it's dramatically improved just by learning how to tell a story properly,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
improved my conversations.
Right.
I'm interesting now when I used to be dull and boring. So
You, oh,
that
come
was,
on now. Come on.
swear to God, swear to God. I remember when I first joined Toastmasters and I was starting to get into it. I started to see opportunities that I could do with this. And I said to
Right.
my brother, I'm like, Chris,
Right.
I can I can see myself, putting on a
That's
workshop for
big.
like
That's big.
30 people. And he looked at me and he's like, he
That's
just started
awesome.
laughing at me.
Yeah,
Right.
that's awesome.
He's like, you can't do that. No, you're Stephano. This
It's
is
like,
nothing you can
watch
do.
me, damn it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. And it's funny because like I have when I became a Toastmaster 12 years ago, I had two ladies, and they're still in the club. And they've got one has got maybe 2 years on me, and then the other one is one of the founders of the chapter, and she's the only one that has stayed consistent in as an active member. She's usually always the vice president of membership, but is Karen has made such an impact on me as a friend, as a confidant, as a mentor. I mean, this is the lady that it would always tell even her kids, saying, "Well, with this problem, what about Toastmasters? And this is what we learn for da 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 da." And the kids would roll their eyes, but from that storytelling that you can provide those examples where people go, aha, that eureka moment, and get them to think about it. And it's interesting. I just finished up district leadership, and very, very happy not to be doing that anymore because there were some frustrating things
I
about
get
that
it.
that
Yeah.
I'm glad to leave that behind. I mean, 3 straight years. It's like it reminds me when I was in the army, I did company command, and I did that for like four, and that was brutal. And
I
um
bet.
and with this, it is so interesting that you can see the processes work. You see how things are supposed to be, and then like with this process, you tell those stories. You tell the stories, and people listen. Did you ever watch the movie Big Fish?
I love Big Fish. Yeah. I'm a
Oh
big
yeah.
Tall Tale fan. If you
Yo, yeah,
have you ever seen my Tall Tale?
oh no, I I
Oh,
I would
okay.
I would love to see that. I mean, you think about that. You're talking about your son, and this guy, the guy was telling all these crazy stories, and his son was rolling his eyes and all, and then you got through your son, by telling those stories. And on him, it was the opposite. Like, oh, Dad, you're full of it, and everything. And getting up to the time that he's about to pass away, and those stories reconnect everything. And it's an amazing thing. That's something I've tried to do with my kids too. And I try to bring a technique to my clubs, saying, like table topics or something like that, to use the storytelling element to bring some things out, because it just turns into a magical moment. I mean, I'm sure you've seen that too,
Mhm.
in telling stories, especially the tall tales. I mean, you get animated and start doing some things. It's wonderful.
Yeah. It hands down, I think is the greatest skill I've ever learned in my life.
That's fantastic.
It's been benefited me in all aspects of my life. Not just storytelling, but um, still storytelling in the right way, like
Oh
having
yeah.
the if if you don't have any tension or conflict, then it's not a
Hmm.
story. If you don't have any transformation, there's no story.
Right.
But these are easy things to add to even the littlest stories, right?
Right.
So if you could
Right.
learn to show transformation, if you learn to add a bit of tension and conflict, and you show the results, doesn't matter what you're saying, it people are going to respond to it.
Hmm.
Like Hollywood's been doing it to us for how
Oh
many
yeah.
years?
Oh gosh, yes,
There's a
definitely.
reason why it's such a big industry.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we're still doing it the old way, oral traditions and things like that. But then when you start adding imagery and you start
Mhm.
adding sound, I mean, that's what became movies, because suddenly all those things that the storyteller visualized in your mind as you were listening to their words and and processing their reactions, it was done. It was done. They took the oral traditions, that physical storytelling, not necessarily from us. It just morphed into something else, and and the world was changed, from that point on. I mean, whether it was silent movies or talkies or what have you, or even the CGI things that are now. It's like, for instance, I mean, if you use like the Lord of the Rings or the Marvel movies, you could never technically, when we were kids. I mean, I don't know how old you are. I'm 58, but it's like in the 70s, whenever so many of these things still existed, there was no way that you could properly take the depth and just immense capacity of those tales and properly put it on the screen. I mean, everything was
Mhm.
was the written word, and you use your mind and your imagination to visualize those things. And
Mhm.
and, and I'm very, very happy to see that here lately, a guy who used to be one of my area directors, he was bringing up that, have you heard about companies wanting to focus on storytelling inside of the corporate environment? And I'm like, no, tell me more.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. And it's like what you were saying, that comparative selling process, I mean, it might take longer. I mean, because when I was in sales, I sold advertising, and I sold print advertising, not digital advertising, print advertising, and then also water treatment systems and printing and printing products. And that pitch, remember, you remember how it was. You have your pitch, you have everything set up, and then you wait for the client to say yes or no.
Mhm.
And the comparative process is not that at all. It's like going, there is no schedule. It's like going, okay, I'm going to pitch this one from 1 to 3 o'clock today. You're going to have to just wait. You want the sale? Like you said, I wanted the sale, and I waited around and I let that woman stew, and that became one of the biggest sales of your life. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. You really, really can't. That has to be a seminal moment in your professional career, that you broke through that barrier.
And that kind of answers your question earlier about, why I do it or how I do it
Hmm.
these moments that have been transformational for me, like the storytelling moment, that
Hmm.
massive shift that it made me want to teach it to other people. Right. And like I
Yeah.
want to shake
Yeah.
people and say, don't you
Right.
understand this?
Yeah.
Right? Don't you gotta do this now. But it's
Exactly.
hard. But that's it. There we go. The power of stories. Instead of my mentor
Right.
always said, he said, don't stop telling people what to believe. Just tell them a story.
Right.
Magical. Yeah.
Let them do the work. Like, if you deliver it well, if you really concentrate on them as even like an individual audience member, whether you look at them in the eye or you look at the forehead, they're still going to get something, and
Mhm.
something is going to happen. It's like being in the classroom, and that moment. I was going to be a secondary art teacher in college, and I dropped out of it because there are no jobs. But I never ever lost that desire to teach. And when you can see the light bulb go up, on somebody's head, like their eyes, like you could see, you've seen this where someone's eyes kind of go like, oh, that moment. That's the
Yeah.
most amazing thing ever. To this day, I love it whenever I'm delivering something, and like you said, the head nod, you're like going, yeah, it's right there. That's the most magical thing. Well, all right. Well, other than I don't want to take any more of your time, and I appreciate the blessing you've given me. But okay, so you're marching on to the semifinals, correct, for the
Yep.
international
Yep.
speaking contest? Okay, so what else is going on other than coaching?
That's all at the moment. I'm transitioning right now. I'm getting into more professional speaking as well.
Oh yeah.
So that's something I want to do more of. Yeah, that's something I really enjoy. I love coaching as well.
Hmm.
I teach kids public speaking as well, which I
Oh, that's nice.
it's so
What age group?
rewarding. All ages, anywhere
Oh, really?
between 7 to 18. Yeah,
That's wonderful. That
yeah.
that
It's
right there, that right there, we need to do more than in Toastmasters. It's things like that we can really, really make a difference in a lot of lives.
yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a gavel club or something like that. There are things that we can do as speakers and leaders to really influence people like that, and actually help teachers, the communication teachers and speech teachers that are always kind of beleaguered because all their resources are stuck to a specific curriculum. But if we can add to things like that with exactly the method you're going, that that's going to make such a difference in those kids' lives. It's just phenomenal.
Tim. The amount that my life has transformed because of public speaking,
Hmm.
to just imagine what my life would be like now if I would have started at their age.
Yeah. Oh
That to
my
me
gosh,
is
yes, yes,
incredibly inspiring. Yeah.
yes, yes. I mean, I was in junior high or high school. My high school year, my freshman year was in 1981, and I had no desire. My parents didn't build me up in this way, not because they did anything wrong. It's just like reading, writing, and arithmetic, and
Yep.
playing football, looking at a career, things like that. You don't think about the benefits of this, whether it be through speech contest or what have you, because those forensic teams, they're still out there. They're still out there. They're doing the impromptu. They're doing the persuasive. They're doing everything that we've ever done as Toastmasters. And that's just one more opportunity, for us to really make a difference in people's lives. Well, okay, no more time. Again, you've blessed me so much, and I will be giving you, I'll be sending you links and all and if you could email me um links. What I want to do is I want to start forwarding the data to you, and then I'll share with you the raw video so that way you can utilize it for however you want to. And if you want to
Okay.
use it as a coaching point, if you want to turn it into a commercial, it is yours to do whatever with. And I would, once I have the finished uh the finished edited form with little intros and things like that on Spotify and so on and so forth, I'll share those with you as well and get you those links out there. So that way you
Thank
can
you.
you can share it out. So God bless you, dude. It's great to
All right,
meet
my
you.
friend.
Thank you so much. And then, with season two, if you got time, I am going to do a storytelling thing. So if you want to come back and do some things like that, the invitation's open. All right.
That's my favorite thing to talk about.
Awesome.
Thanks, Tim.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Take care, bro.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
Bye.
All right. Bye bye.